It has been about 5 years since I started this whole traveling lifestyle, and since then I've traveled to all 7 continents in over 50 countries. From all of those trips, some of the amazing things that I've done were my expedition trip to Antarctica along with scientists and other travelers, my 2-year stay in Europe as I base myself in Belgium, my epic road trip from North to South Island in New Zealand, my ring road adventure in Iceland, my safari game drive adventures in Africa, my experience on Asia's most luxurious train ride in India, and so much more. Yep, life has been pretty good. But the number one question that I get is this: how did I manage to afford all of these travels? And the top 3 follow-up questions were this: am I rich? Did my parents pay for all of these travels? Or do I have some sort of elusive person who's giving me some sugar money? Well, no, no, and no. To settle this once and for all, I worked in order to do and receive all those travel opportunities. And actually, 90% of them have all been funded by my travel blog. With that said, do you have to be an influencer like me in order to do a lot of traveling? No. Not at all. I say this because a good chunk of my first 2 years of traveling were all funded by me. Besides, I only started to officially do travel blogging a year after I started to do my whole nomadic lifestyle. Anyhow, in order to better help you understand how I did all of this and to also hopefully give you some ideas, I'm breaking this down into 3 parts as I explain how I was able to afford all of my travels. First up, I worked online. Now it helps to mention that I come from a third world country in Asia, so life here is relatively tougher. I scored a corporate job at the age of 19 after a year of internship. And then I was with the company for over 2 years, and yet I was only earning about $250 a month despite being one of the best employees in the company. My total life savings? A measly $600. Now I know some people like the grind and the whole idea of rising up the corporate ladder, but all those years of work experience made me realize that that whole profession was just not for me. And so, I quit that job at 21, but with proper preparation. I did my research first and I found out that working online will be the best choice for me. Besides, not only will I be able to control my time and do the things that I actually like to do whenever and wherever I want, but I will also get to have the chance to aim for a salary that is not bound by third world standards. Now, months before I handed in my resignation paper, I was working on some online jobs on the side. So I was basically doing my corporate job together with the multiple other freelance jobs that I found online. And when those side jobs were paying double or triple than what I was earning, I knew that it was time to quit. And so I did. And in just a few months, I was traveling solo in Asia and then eventually to Europe. Speaking of which, visas are such a bitch. But even though it requires a lot of work from a third world national like me, it never means that it's impossible to do. Online marketing, graphic design, and web design. Now, online marketing was something that I learned by myself by going through free resources online from sites like Udemy or Skillshare. As for graphic and web design, these were skills that I have developed ever since I was young because they were my hobby. Still in the same, I didn't go to a school to learn those skills because all of the knowledge that I gained were from free resources online. By the way, a few months after I did online freelancing, I built up an online Amazon business together with a friend of mine. So in a way, that helped secure my finances even more. All in all, what does this mean for you then? Well, with the advent of technology nowadays, there is simply a huge number of resources available for you online. You just need to look. Now, of course, you don't need to do similar jobs like I did. Find what you're good at, or at least what you're interested in, and start from there. But the way I see it, it's always great to do online or remote jobs because it gives you a lot of possibilities for earning while also giving you the freedom to work whenever and wherever you want. Now, I wrote an extensive post about the different types of jobs that you can do so that you can earn while traveling the world. And if you want to check it out, I will put a link above here or here. I don't know where it will pop up. And I will also put a link in the description box below. But yeah, basically for some examples, some people have made use of their love for photography and videography by selling those skills. Some people have become consultants. Other people have become virtual assistants. And I have some friends who have become English teachers abroad. And there's so much more. Now, the second way on how I am able to afford all of my travels is that I work as a travel influencer. Now, like I mentioned before, it is my blog that helped fund 90% of my travels in the past years. But of course, this is not to say that my first years of traveling solely as an online freelancer or nomad were not helping me travel, because of course it did. It just so happened that I got into blogging and I focused more on it for the most part of my travel life. And so the first few weeks of my blogging journey were quite boring, until one day one of my posts went viral online and it was picked up by big publications like BBC, National Geographic, and so much more. It was a unique story at that time because I wrote about how I, a third world national, was able to travel the world and build an online business. And after that blew up, my blog gained a lot of readers worldwide, and the rest was history. So aside from getting paid projects and sponsorships among many others, I also get passive income from my blog via affiliate partnerships as well as advertisements. Naturally, there are many other ways to make money as an influencer, but I will talk about this extensively in another video. For now, however, if you're interested in learning on how to build a successful blog, as well as some other tips on how you can make it out there, you can read my guide by clicking on the link above or the links in the description below. Lastly, the third best way on how I'm able to afford my travels is to do money and travel hacks. So in times that I don't travel for work, I still make it a point to aim for best for value ways to travel. You must remember this. Traveling is never only for the rich. Of course, it can get expensive, but it will only be that way if you let it be. You should know, after all, that first and foremost, there are a number of ways that you can make travel cheaper, if not for free. Once again, I wrote in detail about how you can travel on a budget on my blog, and you can check it out by clicking the links above or the links down below. But as examples, for flights, I always go to platforms like Momondo or Skyscanner. These are basically websites that search all airline companies for the best deals. You can even set up alerts on routes that you'd like so that it can notify you if the price suddenly drops. There's also a feature where you can see the cheapest places to fly to in certain months or dates. And then another website that I also subscribe to is Secret Flying. Now, this is a site which regularly updates people on airlines worldwide that have error fares or rock bottom deals. And I guarantee you, it's legit. Case in point, I once scored a round-trip flight here from the Philippines to the USA for only $200. This happened because there was an error fare going on. And it wasn't even horrible, as most cheap flights do, because I only had one layover. Meanwhile, for accommodation, if you want to get it for free, you can always try to do volunteering, wherein you give labor in exchange. There is also the option of doing house sitting, in which you go to websites like Trusted House Sitters. This is basically where you can stay in another person's home as long as you do some small house chores while taking care of their pets. And of course, there's also the option of doing the good old couch surfing. Now, for third world nationals like me, a good tip to remember is to travel to visa-free countries first. Because in this way, you will get to avoid expensive visa fees, experience the same if not lower cost of living, and so on. Seriously, I can rant about this endlessly because there are so many ways to be able to afford traveling without breaking your savings. But yeah, that's it for now, and I hope you guys have learned a thing or two from how I'm able to travel the world. And of course, I hope you enjoyed this video, and please make sure to hit the like button below and subscribe for more updates because I will be doing more of these videos wherein I share with you some travel hacks and tips. Thank you so much for your time, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!